A lot of supplement brands chase trends, but if you're serious about your health, we know research-backed science is what actually moves the needle. Momentous works with the best brains in human science to create every formula, and every batch is made of pure ingredients, tested for safety, and does not contain fillers. So you get the best long-term results possible. Creatine isn't just for muscle gains, it's essential daily fuel for your brain, body, and long-term performance. Momentous CreaPure Creatine is backed by leading performance experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Sims. Sourced exclusively in Germany, CreaPure sets the gold standard for creatine, delivering the purest form, creatine monohydrate, that's rigorously washed and never cut with fillers. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, over 112,000 customers have seen the results firsthand. With Momentous, the fundamentals are done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first subscription order with promo code ACAST. Go to livemomentous.com and use promo code ACAST for up to 35% off your first subscription order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code ACAST.
Hi, this is Knox from the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the Popcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about. Because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hi, this is Knox from the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the Popcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about. Because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
A lot of supplement brands chase trends, but if you're serious about your health, we know research-backed science is what actually moves the needle. Momentous works with the best brains in human science to create every formula, and every batch is made of pure ingredients, tested for safety, and does not contain fillers. So you get the best long-term results possible. Creatine isn't just for muscle gains, it's essential daily fuel for your brain, body, and long-term performance. Momentous CreaPure Creatine is backed by leading performance experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Sims. Sourced exclusively in Germany, CreaPure sets the gold standard for creatine, delivering the purest form, creatine monohydrate, that's rigorously washed and never cut with fillers. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, over 112,000 customers have seen the results firsthand. With Momentous, the fundamentals are done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first subscription order with promo code ACAST. Go to livemomentous.com and use promo code ACAST for up to 35% off your first subscription order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code ACAST.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and surprise! Yes, we are having a new episode on Tuesday for a short time, just running up until sort of Christmas. And we're going to be doing sort of classic ghost tales, because it is now autumn, winter. Need some classic ghost stories. So it's time for you to grab a blanket, get all cozy, get your cuppa, and listen to some classic ghost stories, and I hope you really enjoy this little season we're doing. Toby will normally be with me for these episodes, but because my brain gets very muddled about stuff, I didn't do this one. So I'm doing it now on my own, and he's still at his dad's, and we'll be back to later. Kind of rushing on a Monday. Yep, that's me. To put this together. Got one long classic ghostly tale for you, and we're going to Scotland. Are you ready for the story? Cortachy Castle, an ancient stronghold near Angus, Scotland, carries a chilling legend within its stone walls. For over a century, residents and guests have spoken of a phantom drummer whose drum beats echo as an omen of death for the noble Ogilvy family, the Earls of Airlie. According to lore, whenever this ghostly drummer sounds, a member of the family is fated to die soon after. It's hard to imagine anything more frightening than the slow, rhythmic beats of a drum growing closer in the dead of night, a personal harbinger of doom for one of Scotland's oldest aristocratic families. In Scottish folklore, such warning spirits are not unheard of. Irish and Highland clans often spoke of banshees, wailing women or other spirits whose cries foretold a family member's death. The drummer of Cortachy serves a similar role, albeit in a uniquely military fashion. Instead of a banshee's scream, it is the tattoo of a drum, and even occasional skirl of phantom bagpipes that signals tragedy. The tale of the drummer has become one of Scotland's most famous ghost stories, a family ghost of the Ogilvys that stands alongside legendary omens in the annals of haunted folklore. Unlike many romanticised ghost legends, the accounts of the Cortachy drummer come to us as sober, historically documented anecdotes and local traditions, lending the story a factual tone. Every legend has an origin, and in the case of the drummer of Cortachy Castle, multiple versions attempt to explain who the spectral drummer was in life and why he haunts the Ogilvys. The most popular telling paints a scene of betrayal and violent retribution. In this version, sometime centuries ago, a young drummer in service at Cortachy became entangled in a scandalous affair with the lady of the castle. When the Earl of Airlie, head of Clan Ogilvy, discovered this liaison, his rage was murderous. The unfortunate drummer was said to have been forcibly shoved into his own drum and hurled from the highest tower of Cortachy Castle. Mortally injured, but not killed outright by the fall, the dying drummer used his final breaths to utter a terrible curse upon the house of Airlie. He would return from the grave to haunt the family forever, and his ghostly drum would sound as a warning before each impending death of an Ogilvy heir. True to his word, so the legend claims, the vengeful spirit has stalked the family ever since, an eternal reminder of that bloody deed. Another version of the legend shifts the motive from romance to clan rivalry. In the 17th century, during one of the many feuds and wars that rocked Scotland, Cortachy Castle was caught up in conflict. One tale suggests the drummer was actually a messenger from a rival clan, the Lindsays or perhaps Campbells. who arrived at Cortachy bearing a message of truce or surrender. The Laird of Cortachy and Ogilvy, infuriated either by the message or the messenger's arrogant demeanour, ordered the boy killed. In a particularly grim detail, some say the youth was thrust through his drum or tied up in it before being thrown from the battlements as punishment. In this account too, the dying drummer swore vengeance, pledging that his spectral drumming would haunt the family's halls as a death omen for generations to come. The third origin story links the phantom to the chaos of the mid-17th century civil wars. In 1640, Archibald Campbell, 8th Earl of Argyll, leader of the Covenanters, led troops into Angus to destroy the Ogilvy strongholds, an attack immortalised in the ballad, The Bonny Hoose at Arley. One variant contends that a drummer, sometimes said to be a member of Clan Cameron allied with the Ogilvies, failed to give timely warning of Argyll's approaching army. Airlie Castle was torched in the onslaught, and in some tellings, the drummer boy perished in the flames, either trapped or executed by the attackers. His restless spirit followed the surviving Ogilvy lord to their other residence at Cortachy Castle, continuing to beat a spectral drum as an ever-present reminder of betrayal and loss. Yet another variant simply describes the drummer as a hostage who was burned alive at Cortachy in 1645, also during the clan wars. Whichever genius one prefers, all agree on the essential point. The drummer died violently at the hands of Ogilvy, or because of an Ogilvy's actions, and with his dying breath laid a curse upon the family. From that moment, any time a death loomed in the Airlie lineage, the phantom drummer would sound his ill-omened instrument. The ghost's appearance is never directly seen in most accounts. Often it is just the sound of drumming that is heard through empty corridors or across lonely moors. But when those hollow beats strike up, the blood of every Ogilvy runs cold. Over the years, this legend was well known enough to be recorded in newspapers and folklore books, reinforcing that the tale was not merely a fanciful fireside yarn, but a firmly entrenched belief in the region. The legend of the drummer might have remained just that, a dark castle myth, were it not for a series of reported encounters and incidents during the 19th century that gave the story a disturbing credibility. The most famous of these took place around Christmas time in 1844 and is widely documented in contemporary letters and later writings. Miss Margaret Dalrymple, a young woman connected to the noble circles of Scotland, was invited to spend a few days as a guest of the Earl and Countess of Airlie at Cortachy Castle. She arrived at the grand ancient house and settled into a tower chamber for the night, unaware of any ghostly lore attached to the family. What happened next would soon become one of Britain's best-known ghost stories. On the first evening of Miss Dalrymple's stay, as she dressed for dinner in her room high in the castle, she heard a strange strain of music wafting from outside under her window. At first it sounded like distant music on the wind, but gradually it resolved into a well-defined drum roll. The distinct rat-a-tat-tat of a drum being played somewhere in the cold winter darkness Puzzled, Mrs. Dalrymple assumed there must be some festivity or practice occurring. When her maid came in to assist her, she inquired casually if there was a drummer performing near the house, but the maid knew of no such entertainment happening that night. The curious incident soon slipped from her mind as she went down to the dining room. It was the course of dinner in the castle's candle-lit hall. That Miss Dalrymple mentioned the topic again. Turning to her host, the Earl of Airlie, she innocently asked, "My lord, who is your drummer?" The reaction was instantaneous. The Earl's face went pale as chalk, and he nearly dropped his fork, visibly shaken. His wife, the Countess, likewise blanched, casting anxious glances to her husband. Around the table, several other guests and family members fell into an uncontrollable silence, exchanging wary looks. Miss Dalrymple realised at once that her simple question had struck a nerve, though she could not imagine why. Embarrassed by the tension, she let the matter drop until after dinner. In the drawing room, she quietly asked another member of the household what had caused such alarm. The answer she received was both incredulous and chilling. "Have you never heard of the drummer boy? He goes about the house playing his drum whenever there is a death impending in the family. The last time he was heard was shortly before the death of the last lady of Airlie. The drummer boy is a very unpleasant subject in this family, I assure you." Mrs. Dalrymple was stunned. She had inadvertently stumbled upon the family's dreaded secret. What she had heard beneath her window was no flesh and blood drummer at all, but the faithful ghost of Cortachy Castle. The atmosphere in the castle had shifted from gracious hospitality to quiet dread. That night, or early the next morning, as some later recount, Mrs. Dalrymple heard the phantom drumming once more, faintly echoing through the halls. Having no desire to tempt fate further, she cut her visit short. The two women guests departed Cortachy Castle in haste the next day, deeply unsettled by the ominous sounds and the grim legend attached. Before leaving, they privately noted the obvious distress of Lord and Lady Airlie. The Countess in particular seemed weighed down by a fearful certainty that the drums told for someone in her household. Tragically, the omen appeared to hit its mark. Within about 6 months of that winter night, the young Countess of Airlie, Margaret Lady Airlie, was dead. She passed away in June 1845 while staying in Brighton, reportedly due to complications from childbirth, delivering twins. The timing did, sadly, verify the prognostication, as one contemporary observer noted. What made the death even eerier was a revelation that came afterward. It was said that a written note was found among the Countess's papers, declaring her own conviction that the mysterious drumbeats had been an omen for her. Lady Airlie apparently had believed the family ghost had come to claim her life, and the heir of Airlie himself had prior experience with the phantom drummer's warning, which explains his terrified reaction at the dinner table. Some years earlier, in 1835, the Earl, David, 9th Earl of Airlie, was in England on a visit, staying with friends, far from his own estates, when he heard a strange phantom sound that no one else could hear. While sitting in the garden one afternoon, he became aware of what sounded like a marching band approaching, complete with the distant thump of a drum. The lady of the house heard nothing, though the Earl insisted he could distinctly make out the martial music. The cold realization came over him. His family's dreaded herald of death was not confined to Cortachy's walls. If he and he alone could hear a phantom band where none should be, it might be the ancestral omen playing for him. The Earl's fears centred on his family back home. Chillingly, news arrived the next day that his wife at the time, Clementina, the previous Countess of Airlie, had suddenly died following a premature childbirth. The drum had sounded, and a life dear to him was lost. With that memory seared in mind, you can understand why, in 1844, the Earl of Airlie turned white as a sheet when a guest unwittingly mentioned hearing drumming at Cortachy. Mrs. Dalrymple's story quickly spread among society families. It was reported and discussed widely in the region, so much so that people in the north of Scotland were waiting with interest to see if a death would indeed follow the incident. After the Countess's passing, the tale of the ghostly drummer became cemented as truth in the minds of many. But the drummer of Cortachy was not done with the Ogilvies yet. Further appearances were soon to be recorded, extending the legend's portfolio of evidence. In August 1845, another extraordinary encounter with the phantom took place, this time far from Cortachy Castle itself, proving that the ghost could travel wherever an Ogilvie resided. On the evening of 19th of August 1845, a young English gentleman was on horseback, trekking through the wild Highland landscape toward a remote shooting lodge known as Tulchan of Den Isla, one of the Airlie family's hunting lodges in the mountains. Darkness had fallen over the moor by 8:30 p.m, and at last the weary traveller saw the welcoming glow of lamplight spilling from the lodge windows in the distance. At that same moment, a faint swell of music drifted to his ears from somewhere out on the lonely hills. It sounded for all the world like a distant brass band, accompanied by a steady drumbeat. The astonished Englishman paused to listen as the unearthly music, at one moment loud, then fading, carried on the wind. The music had an eerie and unearthly character, he later recounted, made more baffling by the utter isolation of their location. There were no villages or festivities for miles around, nothing but heather, bog and darkness. Puzzled and a little unnerved, the gentleman asked his guide, a local Highlander riding with him, what on earth could be the source of a marching band out here in the empty glen? The guide's reaction was to stiffen with fear. He muttered gruffly that such sounds were no canny, not natural, and urged his pony onward at a faster clip. It was clear that the Highlander wanted nothing to do with whatever the traveller had heard. They arrived at Tulchan Lodge shortly thereafter. There, the Englishman learned that his host for the hunting party, Lord Ogilvie, heir to the earldom, the future 10th Earl of Airlie, was absent, having been suddenly called away to London because his father, the old Earl, had fallen gravely ill. The gathering clouds of dread began to coalesce into certainty. The 9th Earl of Airlie died the very next day, 20th of August 1849, in London. the young English sportsman, who had known nothing of the family legend, had unwittingly borne witness to the spectral drummer's warning. As one of the guests told him bluntly upon hearing his account of the strange music, "I fear the sound you have heard bodes no good. For there is an ancient legend that when the head of the House of Airlie is about to die, a band plays outside his house. Sure enough, the head of the house died within hours. The phantom band of Cortachy had struck again, this time on a desolate mountainside far from the castle, as if no distance was too great for the curse to pursue its target. The 9th Earl's death and its alleged omen were covered in paranormal chronicles of the time, further entrenching the drummer's reputation. But the morbid saga did not end in the 1840s. The drummer's final movements, as far as recorded history goes, took place toward the end of the 19th century and at the dawn of the 20th, coinciding with the next generations of the Airlie family. One often cited episode occurred in 1881. By this time, the heir who had been at Tolchan, David O'Gilvy, had succeeded as the 10th Earl of Airlie. In spring of 1881, the 10th Earl was aboard in the United States on business or travel. While back in Britain, two family friends, Lady Dalkeith and Lady Thelmersdale, were together in the vicinity of Cortachy. It was later reported that both ladies heard the sudden, unexplained sound of drumming about an hour before the Earl of Airlie died unexpectedly in America. The account describes that the news of Lord Airlie's death from illness was published in the papers with an American dateline, and the ladies realised the timing coincided exactly with the mysterious drum beats they heard back home. A few years later, in 1884, another Countess of Airlie was said to have heard the drumming shortly before she died. This may refer to the widow of the 9th Earl or another female family member. Accounts vary, but it reinforced that the omen visited wives as well as lords. Family members purportedly grew to dread any hint of the unexplained music. It was even suggested in some lore that frightening O'Gilvy relatives sometimes worried themselves to death after hearing the drummer's foreboding tattoo, making it almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. The last widely acknowledged appearance of the drummer came in 1900, during the Second Boer War in South Africa. By this time, the Airlie family's curse had persisted into another generation. The 11th Earl of Airlie, Lord O'Gilvy, was serving as a colonel in the British Army, leading his men in the Boer War. In June 1900, fate placed him in harm's way on the South African veldt, and if legends are to be believed, fate also let the family drummer make one final dramatic encore far from Scottish soil. British troops, and even some Boer prisoners in the Transvaal region, reported hearing the strains of a phantom band playing near the army camp, seemingly out of nowhere. The music was described as a full band, with a distinct drum thumping away, and some of the Boer prisoners complained about this mysterious band playing on the Sabbath and disturbing the peace. The soldiers themselves, spooked by the occurrence, many could not locate any source for the sound. The next day, June the 11th, 1900, during the Battle of Diamond Hill, the Earl of Airlie was killed in action, shot through the heart while bravely leading a cavalry charge. Only afterward did those present recall the uncanny music on the wind the day before. To the folks back home, it was obvious. The drummer of Cortachy had followed the Earl to war and sounded his final warning. After the 11th Earl's death in 1900, something curious happened. The drummer of Cortachy fell silent, or at least no further incidents have been widely recorded. The pattern that had stretched from the 1840s through the end of the 19th century seemed to cease. As one modern historian quipped, the ghost apparently went into retirement after 1900.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Now, I don't want to be picky about this, but why do the rich people always get the omens? It just doesn't seem fair. And I'm not saying that I want one, because I don't want a banshee. I don't want a drummer. But why do only the rich people get them? Maybe we do get them as poor, struggling people, but we just don't notice. I don't know, maybe we get knocking or something. It's just another one of those unfair things in life. The interesting story, I thought it was great because I just imagined it all around the castle. And it's very similar, isn't it, to like Banshee law and stuff like that. So I'm going to have a little look and see if we can go a bit further afield and find similar entities, like wailing women. I did cover that in the book. And see if I can put some stuff together. But that won't be just yet, because we're into the chillier season and sort of focusing around that. So the next sort of main episodes and extras will be kind of about chillier things, so we can all get cozy. Well, that's the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you again tomorrow with the Reddit episode. Take care, everyone.
Hi, this is Knox from the podcast with Knox and Jamie. And maybe like us at the podcast, you also know people who have been smokers or vapors. And Zyn is the one product it seems like everyone is talking about, because there are many good reasons to make a change to Zyn nicotine pouches. Reasons like Zyn nicotine pouches are still America's #1 choice for smoke-free, hands-free nicotine satisfaction. And you can choose between 10 varieties, each variety available in either 3 or 6 milligrams. Check out zyn.com/find to find Zyn at a store near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
You're invited to spend an evening on Fremont Avenue. For generations, this house has been home to soulful music, good food, and cutthroat card games. Saints and sinners, unexpected laughs and unspoken truths. Good times, hard times, and of course, family. Always family. So pull up a chair and join us at Fremont Avenue, a world premiere play only at Arena Stage. Now in performances. Tickets at arenastage.org.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people. We wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Beef up your morning ritual with a hearty steak, egg, and cheese bagel, or any of your favorite bagel sandwiches. Then kick it up a notch with any size iced coffee for just 99 cents. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.